I'm in her space right now. So
That is perfectly okay. You are here, and that's what it's all about. Yay!
I'm like, we're making it happen. We're making it happen.
hmm
Finally.
Finally, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. And so,
Yes.
really quickly, just to make sure that, we're on the same page with, what I'm doing here and what I intend to do with this podcast. I
Okay.
just want to tell the stories of people who are out there doing it, right? I'm in the schools working with the high schoolers and teachers, and many of them are stuck in this loop where they feel like the only way that they can be successful is they can, be an entertainer or be an athlete. And, it's like those are fine. However, there's so many other things that you can do with life, and people don't really tap into that creative side, right? And so I just love your story, how you have just carved your own way. It's just like, this is what I want to do, and I'm figuring out how to do it. And you're being so successful doing it. And no one really hears those type of stories these days. And so I'm like, if we don't tell our stories, who will? And so I'm like, since I know people who are doing these things, it's my responsibility to share those stories. And so that's what I'm doing.
Well, I love that, and anything I can do to help share those stories, because as you said, if we don't tell our stories, who will? And
Exactly.
that's, I mean, that's a huge part of us culturally that we it feels like we're losing is oral tradition of our history, and
Hmm.
if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. I
That's
mean,
what they say.
we're kind of seeing examples of it right now, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. So
Right.
yeah, we have to be responsible for telling our stories. We have to be responsible for not just creating our own legend, but letting people know about the shoulders that we stand on.
Hmm.
Because one thing I can say, and now being at this space where I am, I definitely didn't do it alone. And there's people who opened doors for me who were gone before I met, and some I was fortunate enough to meet. But they opened doors, they paved some roads, and so I always have this thing about studying greatness, right?
Hmm.
And so that's a big thing of mine. I study greatness. I see what they did, what worked, and whatever else. And so you all of a sudden you say, well, okay, I see this, and I see what this person did this. And then you kind of build on that, but just standing on their
Right.
shoulders, you know what I mean?
Right. You take those great things about each person and you find a way to meld it into who you are and make
Yes,
it even something better if possible, right? Yeah.
exactly. I mean, right on your wall, you have some of my influences, and it's a billion of them, but Jimmy, Wu-Tang, like I pull from all of these different greats, the Gregory Hines and the Denzel Washington, and not even just us. Like, who are the greats? What did they do to get there? Prince,
Right. Do we
who's
really
this
know their
person? Who's
stories
that?
and what they had to do to persevere to
Nero,
make it to that
Pacino,
level? Yeah.
whatever it is, because I want to create, just not for me, I want to leave a legacy of greatness, not just for my kids, for whatever else, for an artist 75 years from now that I'm never going to meet, who's going to stumble across one of my shows or one of my movies and say, oh man, I never met August Wilson. I never
Yeah.
got to talk to August Wilson, but
Yeah.
he's a huge influence of mine.
Because
So
he left
that's
something, he
I
left his
love a
mark.
chance. Love a chance.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. See, oh yes, I'm feeling this already. So before we move forward, I would love for you to just officially introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay.
Please tell us who you are and what you do in life these days.
Okay. Well, I am Wallace Demarria. I am co-CEO of Outside Studios. And I say that first because I started off as an actor. I just want to act. That's it, right? But then, kind of what we were talking about, I had these story ideas and I wanted to tell great stories. I wanted us to have some great stories too. And I started writing, and I wasn't even a writer at the time. So I consulted every writer I knew, but sometimes God will work in a way to kind of push you towards your real calling, right?
Hmm.
I mean, I was booking all the time, but I wasn't booking stuff that I wanted to play. I wasn't booking stuff that justified all the sacrifice, all the years of studying with some of the greatest teachers in the world. And here I was playing, light-skinned black guy by the pool.
Most generic part ever, right?
Probably mixed black guy, you know what I mean? Like I was getting those kind of roles. Good looking black dude with white wife. Like, and I was like, okay, come on, man. Like, I want to play a Malcolm X type of character, and I want to play the world champ, and I want to be a vampire since Sinners is hot, right? And you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to do
Man.
those things, and so nobody would write it. Not one
Mm,
single writer would write it for me. I was like, yo, I did your movie for free. And they was like, yeah, well, sucks to suck. I don't know what to tell you, right? And
dang.
friend of mine, a really good friend of mine, was just like, well, write it yourself. And I was like, but I'm not a writer. She was like, how many scripts have you read? 1,000? And I was like, yeah, probably more. She was like, okay, then write it. And turns out I didn't even know this. She was a script supervisor for studios.
Oh, wow.
So she was like, send it to me and I'll send it back to you, with notes.
Hmm.
And she sent it back and she was like, "Oh my God." She said, you don't know how to format it. And I'll tell you that, but the story is incredible. And that just kind of started and I wrote some movies and then it was like everything started happening at the same time. I landed my first lead in a feature, but and I love them. I love them. But the final cut, I didn't like the final cut. I felt
Mm,
like it was some weird edits and some weird stuff, and I just felt like the studio had too much control over my image, over my
gotcha.
work, right? And
Hmm.
I'm not in the bad way, but professionally, a bit of a control freak. I work. I want my work
Right.
to represent what it should,
Right.
and
And you
that's
know, it could have
so.
been better with what's there. Yeah.
Yeah, like if
Not
I,
having
I know
privacy.
we did great work and now all of a sudden it's this crazy take, but that was kind of the studio beefing with the director, which, God rest his soul. I love the man and I thank him for giving me the opportunity. They had a bigger name and for fighting for me when they wanted to cut me. But when
Hmm.
you don't have final cut of your project, it can end up like that. Like
Yeah.
they're like, oh, okay, well, cool. You don't want to cut this guy? Great. So wait till you see this final cut because on a business end, a lot of times they can make more money just tanking the film.
Mm.
They call that burying the film. So I was sad. I was all depressed, like, oh no, man, my movie. And then I ran into the great James Avery, rest in
Oh,
peace.
wow.
I met him on my very first audition as an adult, right? Because I had started when I was a kid, but my parents didn't really like Hollywood. I made my first movie, it never came out. But I met him on my first, audition as an adult. And so I was just down and, they had just canceled my movies because the strike was happening. Right. So you had the writer strike and the actor strike. So here it was, I'm making the calls like, Mama, I made it. And oops, I was just playing, Mom. It's like, no, I didn't. We're not gonna make that movie now all of a
Actually,
sudden. And so I went to the Geffen and I saw Jitney, August Wilson play. And
okay.
James Avery was starring in it. And of course, I don't think he's going to remember me. It's been like 7, 8 years. But I see him when I'm out back and he remembers me. He's like, Wallace, hey man, how you doing? I was wondering what you been up to. Oh wow.
Wow.
So I tell him my story. I tell him everything. Man, I booked my first lead in the feature and this happened. And then I signed on for 3 more movies and the strike. And I was giving him my woe is me story.
Hmm.
And I will never forget. He said, Wallace, stop, stop, stop. He said, why do you think I remember you? I said, I don't know. He said, well, I remember you because you were great already, but you wanted to be great. You weren't trying to just be famous, anything like that. You wanted to be
Mm.
great. He said, so don't let this business ruin you. He said, "Didn't you tell me that you started off in theater?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, then go find a play." All right. And I kind of looked at him because, LA is not a theater town. Like you do that. At that time, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I did that as a kid to get to this. But,
So
and
that was a
I
stepping
can't
stone.
quote what he said to me, but he looked at me and he goes, you watching me in a play right now. Like, and I was like,
The
yes,
irony.
sir. You're right. You're right. And so I went and found a play and I fell in love with it again. But I'm also a Fisk University alumni business major. So about midway through the run, my business sense kind of kicked in, and I said, "Huh, we've been sold out every night." And
That can add
I,
up, right?
I made less than gas money, so I need to know, right? And I went and talked to the theater and found out how much they charged to rent it out, and I was like, "Oh, oh, okay." And
Hmm.
so from that, I decided I'm going to switch gears and start writing plays because then in my mind at that time it was like no studio, no editor, nobody can cheat me out of my work.
Yeah,
So
you
that
have a
I can
little more control, like you
I
said
can get the
before.
story out there. And so I did, and it just took off, right? I mean, my first play, good thing I was a business major. I had planned for this. I mean, we were performing for like chairs for the first few weeks. Like
Mm.
we'd be performing for one person, two people. But I'd always tell them, you give the exact same performance. I don't care if it's one person or a million. We are professionals. And so that one person would come back with two, and then two would come back with four. And before you know it, by the final week, my first show was sold out. We ran for like a month. And so when I announced my second show, we were selling tickets so fast. It was crazy. Like we were like, oh man, we got to extend the show. But then I also had this
Reputation. Nice.
idea. I said, I'm going to have press come out before the show opens. We're going to do a dress run for them. And so LA Weekly dropped an article and called it Shakespearean and all these things. And it just caught fire after that. And so for the next few years, it was boom, sold out shows, sold out shows, sold out shows. And
Wow.
we were nominated, well, I was not 14 times, NAACP Theater Awards, won nine of them, like in a 3 year
Wow.
span. And everything was there, but again, sometimes you don't really realize what God has for you, right? You think, okay, I'm doing good, I'm doing great, this is it. But your calling was bigger than that. So in 2017, my finance guy lost every dime of my money. I went from
Okay.
doing phenomenal to I can't buy tacos, I can't buy lunch, I can't get gas.
I remember some of this phase, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And so I met you while it was when it was really starting to get hot. I met you around
Yeah.
the time I first did Secrets. And so that was my third play. And we were just, you remember we were sold out,
Hmm.
red carpet. Um, and then it's just amazing how fast life comes at you because that was 2014. By 2017, I was having to leave my home, having to leave Los Angeles, move to Vegas for a little while just because I couldn't afford to stay here.
Wow.
um, they're repossessing my car. Like this can't be my life, is what I'm feeling. And so, man, but I had to rebuild. I couldn't even put up shows, and that's the only way I've made a living over the last, however many years at that point, 7, 8 years. Now I'm out
Mm-hmm.
here trying to get a regular job and a sales
Oh no,
job.
how
I'm
do you
trying
go
to,
back to that?
yeah, I'm like trying to figure it all out, and then moved back to LA 2019 from the sales job. I'm doing okay, but my soul is miserable.
Yeah.
And then I got the call. I got a call in 2020 that said, "Listen, man, I've been hearing about your shows all the way out here in New York for the longest time. It's time you come out here."
Mm.
And I was like, "Okay, let's go." And so next thing you know, my show Colorblind, which was the second show I put up, the one I said the tickets were selling, they called Shakespearean, we were headed to off Broadway in the middle of Times Square. And we had one of the most successful off-Broadway shows of 2022. And when I say we, I'm talking outside studios. So
Okay.
Amanda Niqole, who is, you know, my lady, but also my business partner, and she directed the show because I was
Mhm.
directing it back in 2013. But we
Okay.
had met, started this company, and I mean, she was, top of her class, Columbia Film School, and just brilliant mind. And I was like, yo, I think you should direct it. I think you
Nice.
should. And critics loved us, audiences loved us. And then after that, we were just like, we were on tour. And if we weren't on tour with our show, I got a call from one of the most successful Black off-Broadway producers in history. He still may own the record of the longest Black show off Broadway ever, because he was the one that called the theater for us. Like I've known him
Mm.
forever, but he was just like, all right, it's time. And he was at opening night, and he says, man, listen, I've been such a fan of your writing, I forgot how powerful you were as an actor. So in between my shows, he booked me as one of the leads of his show. So I had pretty much been on the road for the last 3 years off and on, whether with outside studios or in his shows. And then in the middle of
Is
it,
there a reason why you're leaving his name out? Because I'm like, who is this?
oh no, Leon Gray, that's my man. Look,
Oh, okay. I'm
I am
like,
all about supporting the greats. That's my guy, Leon Gray. If you listen, if you see his shows, any of his shows coming to your town, go see it. Like, yeah,
okay.
I'm
I have to
getting, listen,
research.
you
Yes.
will thank me later. Um, and I think when it's all said and done, he'll be mentioned with the August Wilsons and all of those. And I'm sure he would say the same thing about me. I mean, whenever we go on the road and he's hired me as an actor, he'll be like, no, go talk to them. And he'll tell them like, hey, this he's a genius, you know. This we as black men don't have to be at war with each other,
Mm-mm,
right?
there's room for everyone. We can rise
Exactly.
together.
And
Yes.
that's the thing. One of the things that I hate is everybody's fighting over the same piece of pie. Let's just build a table, man. Let's just
Yeah.
build a whole table and have a whole variety of pies. And so we were on the road, and then Amanda just she had found this action movie script because that was really my first dream was action movies. I wanted to beat people up. All right?
That
Okay.
is what I remember about you. You were
Yeah,
like,
I'm a
I need
listen,
to be an action hero. Like
I'm
the rest of that
a
stuff is cool, but
Yeah, like I did Shakespeare, I did all those things, but can I throw somebody through this wall, please? Like, I'm formal. Like I boxed, I'm a martial artist, might have had a few street fights, through the years,
ay, ay, ay.
you know. But everybody told me it was, it's gonna cost millions of dollars to do it or whatever. And I love her. She was just like, yo, what's this? I was like, that was this idea. She was like, let's do it.
Nice.
What? She was like, yeah, this is great. She was like, send me the script. I'm gonna punch it up, update it. And she put together an incredible team and we shot it. She directed it. I starred in it. And I can't say too much, but I will say the short has caught fire. People love it.
Okay.
And now it's growing into something much bigger that legally I can't talk about yet.
All right. Well, I'm excited to hear about it when you are able to talk about it. That's
But I'll
exciting.
talk to you offline about it. I just can't tell
I'm
the
just
world
saying,
yet.
I'm just saying, that's amazing.
Legally, I'll be in all sorts of trouble. But
You're so funny. Well, congratulations. It sounds
thank
like
you.
it's been quite a journey. And like I said, I do remember bits and pieces here and there and just watching certain things unfold for you. And it's just been amazing to watch it happen and just know that it's happening to a person like yourself who deserves it because you really do put in the work.
Thank
I
you.
see the work
That
that you're
that
putting in.
that
Yes.
means everything. And let me reciprocate that. I love seeing you do your thing. I love seeing you grow and blossom and you there's the fake smile people have, but then you can see when a person's soul is happy. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And I love
mm.
that. I love seeing that as your friend.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That's one thing that I strive to be is authentic. And so every day that's something I'm working
You've
for.
been that since the day I met you. So
Right? Oh, yeah, that was an interesting night because some people didn't appreciate that. But anyway, anywho, we gonna jump into the official interview type
all
thing right here where we just get to know a little more a little bit more about you, Wallace, the person, right? I just want to know, like, what was your beginnings? Where did you grow up? What was your home life, your family life like?
Let's see. So I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas. I've been in LA longer. I came here for my first the Child Project, and I booked it. Even though they did come out and tell my parents like we didn't even write this role for a black kid. Like we got to go back and revise the script now.
Mm.
But my parents really didn't like Hollywood, so I had to go back to just doing theater. How do I say this part without seeming like the I would have grown up here fully 100%, but let's just say I fit in too well. Let's I me and LA, South Central LA, we instant connection. We were perfect for each other. And shout out to Crenshaw.
Uh-oh.
uh, all my LA people know exactly what I just said. But no, that was it. And then like I said, I went to Fisk University as a business major because I had gotten some advice from some legends. I've been blessed to sporadically get life advice from legends. So Andre
Mm.
3000 from Outkast had pulled me to the side. I started off as a rapper.
Like,
Well,
where are you that you just randomly happen to pop up on
so
Andre?
I was about
Like,
to say, then that's why I almost didn't say the name because you kind of have to explain that. So I just love art. Like my dad is a phenomenal musician. My mom is a writer. I taught myself how to play guitar. So my brother can sing and rap and write songs, and my sisters are all super talented. And we just all artists.
okay.
And so I was a rapper as a teenager, like because yeah, I could do plays and all these things, but there wasn't like I did a lot of drama tournaments. I even gave up football for drama tournaments because I figured I had a better chance of doing something with that because my team we weren't good. So I was like, well, I got a better chance of
Let me go ahead
entertainment
and
wise.
nurture this
So
other part over here,
yeah,
right?
yeah. And so I think I've met with four major labels and all of them have tried to sign me, but the numbers never made sense. But the first one we drove to Atlanta and just went, and they loved us. But Andre, so they sent it like you go in and they're like, "Who are you? We don't know who you are. Who are these kids sitting in our lobby?" And then they hear you and everything changes, right? Now all of a sudden
Hmm.
they're like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." And so they sent us over to this party and all these things, and yeah, I just randomly end up talking to Andre 3000, who told me they don't want. Dang, I don't. Well, sorry, it's been out there. They want you more than they want your group,
Mm.
but they're willing to take everybody with you, and they love. But don't let them do this, that, and the third. But then he was like, "Go learn the business end of this." He said because everybody remembers the show part, they forget the business, but it's called show business.
That is very
And
true.
so he was telling me about their contract and all of this and how many people owe so much money. So I just kind of took heed to that and I slammed on the brakes and everything. Like, all right. So I went to Fisk as a business major. I didn't do
Mm.
anything entertainment wise until the very end.
Okay.
And so yeah, that was it. And then again, it was like I came out just to act, or I came back just to act. But God would place legends in my way. I used to, like I said, I used to box. I used to do a lot of things. So when I get frustrated, I used to go to the gym and I end up talking to Denzel Washington,
Mm.
in the gym. And I know he would not remember this conversation, but it meant everything to me. And I had told him, oh, Mr. Washington, one of your friends, and he's funny. He's really funny because I felt like I was talking to Training Day with Denzel. He was like, "Who's my friend? What's his name? Huh? Huh? What's his name?
You
Huh? What's
never
his
know
name?
what
Huh?
Denzel
And I
you
was like,
gonna get, huh?
Brent Jennings." He was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a good brother. What's your name? Huh? Huh? Yeah, okay, yeah. He told me about it." And he starts talking to me like he's my dad. You know what I mean? And he like puts his arm around me and he's giving me, advice. You didn't hire me, Mr. Washington, but thank you. But he gave me great advice. But what he said was, he said, if I knew at my age what I know at your age, I'd have spent a lot less time auditioning and more time creating work for myself.
Mm. That's confirmation right there.
Yes, sir. And so that's actually how I originally first started. Like it was him and then James Avery back to back. And I was like, okay,
Uh-huh.
God, I'm listening. I'm
Uh-huh.
listening. So that's it. Just I was an in a nutshell, I was an artistic kid that fought a lot. And so and art probably saved my life, because it probably was gonna get a lot worse. So
Let's talk about that a little bit. Art saved my life because there's this big conversation about arts and education and its value within the educational system. There are lots of people who say, there needs to be more focus on literacy and numeracy because those are the things that, are lacking in society. But then there are others that say the arts are what feed the soul and, provide that substance that makes life worth living. And so I don't know, where do you fall along that spectrum?
I mean, and you're talking to a person with both. I have several degrees, and none of them are art. I'm not a drama major or any of these things, but art saved my life. I always say you can't participate in drive-bys when you have a drama tournament the next day.
Hmm.
So, art and sports have always been kind of the bridge, right? Yeah, they've been the bridge. They are the voice for the voiceless. They are the thing that gives a person something to do. I mean, kids historically, parents will put them in sports or in artistic programs to give their mind something to do, right? The places that are home to me are also historically some of the most violent places in America. Like
Yeah,
there are
yeah.
three places that at any time I can go and be home. Los Angeles, California, Little Rock, Arkansas, South side of Chicago, right?
Hmm.
I go these three anytime and I'm at home. I got family,
Hmm.
I got people. All three have been number one in violent crimes and murders.
At some point, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's something different. And for whatever reason, like I was attracting it. Usually around the time that I'm there, those things are happening, right? But art just gave me a reason to not. Art gave me a reason to want to see tomorrow.
Hmm.
So how I even got into this, and I was a child, and I love my mother for this because we didn't have money. We I don't come from money, nothing like that. As a matter of fact, I always joke and say I didn't even know we was poor till I got to college, and I was like, Mama. Right? But she would, however she did it, she came up with the money to take me to a play. I
Hmm.
don't remember what the play was. I don't remember who the playwright was. But what I do remember is as a small child sitting there, and for 2 hours, I didn't think about what was going on in our world.
Hmm.
I didn't think about, these bills that I've heard her talking about, or this happening, or none of that. I was just in their world. So at the end of it, I turned to her and I said, I want to do that when I grow up.
Wow.
And now not only do I do that, but I also employ so many people. I give so many people their break. I've introduced a lot of people to LA. My entire cast, the kid who said he would never go to New York until he could go for work. So the first time I ever stepped foot in New York, I was signing the contract for the theater, but yet I gave a cast full of New York actors their first off-Broadway job,
Hmm.
because I understand while our stories may be different, art is still very universal. It's a language that we all speak. You and your music, like music it affects your soul. It touches your soul, right? Uh,
Hmm.
you can put on a song right now and you'll instantly remember where you were the first time you heard
It
it.
transports you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right
Yeah.
back there again. All of a sudden, you're in that moment. You're in this. If this was your song and you got your heart broke to this song, you can be as happy as all get up. But when you first hear it, you're gonna remember that heartbreak. Or, oh, this was my, you know what I mean? Every part of
Right.
your body can be hurting, and that song come on, and you can be like, you know what I mean? That's just what art does. And so I don't think either is more important. I think they are equally important. It's kind of like, I'm a parent now, and I love being a parent, and I think that if it's possible for both parents to be in a child's life, they need that. You know what I mean? It's not
Hmm.
always possible, even if you're not together, whatever. That has nothing to do with the child. You know what I mean? But
Right.
and if they don't, then hopefully they have that male or female figure who's like that for them. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So to me, is literacy and education, of course, very important. You know what I mean? Because you need to know what's going on. You need to be able to read this thing. You need to be able to understand what this is. Uh, Even if you're the artist, right? I preach this all the time. Artists, go learn the business end of it. That
Yeah.
thing that Andre shared with me, I share it all the time because I watch so many people get cheated. I watch people throw so. I remember when I first really started working, but it wasn't just all mine. And I would always, all right, we need the paperwork, this, what, you know what I mean? Like I need to,
Hmm.
what is the budget? And people tried to throw so much dirt on my name for that.
Because you were straightforward and just got
Right.
to the point.
And
Okay.
I'm like, but business is business. Like,
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, years later, I would find out I'm the only person from the production who got paid.
See?
Yeah, like no, handle your business. Don't be afraid to handle your business and know how. Like you might not be in a position where you can hire 30 lawyers and this and that. So at least be able to, read it, understand it. But that doesn't make that more important than the art or anything else because my degrees did not save my life. And I used to read a lot. Not none of those books. I mean, the autobiography of Malcolm X is one of the most powerful things I've ever read. I read it like every other year since the eighth grade.
Hmm.
Um, it really shaped a lot, but I don't know if it necessarily saved my life. But art definitely did. Art definitely did. There's a real. I mean, there's a feature film that's coming later about my real life, and you see in it like how art really did save me. I I don't know. I just seem to I go hard, and I would have probably been a statistic one way or the
Hmm.
other. And I'm
Hmm.
not a bad kid. I've never started a fight in my entire life, but it's like I used to just attract this certain kind of energy, people. And I'd be, I was a happy-go-lucky kid. I'd be like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" And then everybody want to fight me, and then yeah, but then when they do, then it's like, oh, what's wrong with him? He's a little
Didn't
bit
mess with
crazy.
him.
Right. But art kind of gave me a different way to focus.
Mm.
Art was like, nah, okay. So like I said, something happened to your friend and you're young, you're angry, and you're upset, and somebody says, hey, we can, okay, oh, got drama tournaments Saturday morning. You know what? I'm not gonna be able to do it. I was real life Trey from Boys in the Hood. That was me in real life. Like, don't let me out. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wowzers, wowzers. It's interesting that you say there are those things, those pivotal moments that happen where you could have gone one way or the other, and the arts had you choose one way and not the other.
Hmm.
Um, what's something about your job as a screenwriter and actor that maybe most people don't know? Something that, it's just like if you only knew, you wouldn't
Man.
glorify
Okay.
this as much or
Okay. So let me try my best to be PC here. Um, One, okay, I'll give a really. This is a great PC one. Movies, usually, especially if they're quality, from the time you start the process to people see it, can be years.
Mm.
Like we're in an era now where people can get it out a lot faster, but still, if you're talking the right quality and this and that, it can be years, right? I I will say that this is honestly the best thing I would tell anybody. There's so much that goes on that's beyond your control, right? If you're an actor, I tell people one of the greatest things that ever happened to me was being on the producing side.
Mm.
And so after that, I started telling actors, like, really, leave it in the room. Whether you give a great performance in the audition or a terrible one, Just leave it. Leave it in the room. Take the sides, throw them away once you leave. Don't stress about it anymore because a million other factors have to happen for you to get that job. So
Hmm.
you might not get it, and it might have nothing to do with you or your performance.
You did a great job.
You were
Everything was right.
phenomenal.
And this other thing still needs to
Yeah.
happen. So,
I lost a job one time because they couldn't find anybody to be my family. They were like, we can't find any actors to match him as family.
mm,
But nobody tells you that.
yeah.
You don't know these things. You could lose it because, like in real life, I'm like, right at 6'2", right? They might bill a certain actor at 6'2", but he really might be 5'10",
So now you too
right?
tall on screen with him.
Right. And they look at that and go, mm-mm. So you leave it there. And as a writer, the best thing I can say, um, and this is not a "well, if you only knew," it's just kind of advice I have for writers.
Okay.
Get rid of the yes men. Right? We're in an era where everybody's super, they're just sensitive and they want everybody to agree with them on everything. And that's never going to make you great.
Hmm. Say that again.
It's never going to make you great. Get
Right.
people around you who are going to be real, who are going to say, this scene doesn't it, this isn't it. Right? Get some people who are going to, my friend who taught me how to, who did all the edits for me, I've never seen that much red ink in my life. She's like, no, why would you say
No,
that? That doesn't
no.
make sense.
Change this, fix
And
that.
she still apologizes to this day. And every time I tell her, no, you made me great. I can send a script to any room now on any level, not just, this. I'm talking highest of levels. And they go, oh man, okay. So you need those people around you if you actually want to be great,
Hmm.
and I kind of have a Kobe mentality. If you're not trying to be great, you do that over there because you're not my people. I'm not like I want you to try to be, even if you're not there, but you want to be great. Cool.
Right. As
Let's
long as you're
let's
aspiring for it and you're moving towards it.
yeah
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah let's
Yeah.
go then. You know what I mean? So that's not it. I mean beyond that, it's a lot of stuff. Just it's a crazy world. You have to have very thick skin, um, and it's a lot of insecurity around you. People
Talk
you
about
would think
that.
are.
What do you mean by a lot of
Oh, I
insecurity?
mean, there's reasons sometimes why they say, you don't want to meet your heroes or whatever else,
Mm,
right? A lot of people you might think are 100% secure and great in this, they might not be,
mm,
so you being great might intimidate your hero one day, or something like that, or it's just a lot of different things. There's so many levels and layers to it, on every level, whether it's theater, film, television, whether you're a great actor, you're whatever it is. So, it's I never met the great Billy D. Williams, but a friend of mine did, and I never forget him telling her, and she called me. She was like, "I met Billy D. Williams," and he told her, "Listen, if you could see yourself doing something else, you should go do it."
oh, wow.
All right. And she was really hurt, but I understood what he was saying. Like it's a rough business. It's not easy. I can't imagine where I would be had all these events not happened that led me to writing.
Hmm.
Because it was more, the part I left out is I had hernia surgery and I was just on the couch for like 6 weeks. And then I was so excited to get back to the gym that I re-injured myself again. So I was on the couch for 13 weeks
Oh, no.
and I was so bored. And that's where I got my first story idea. Right.
Okay.
But I can't
God
imagine.
literally had to sit you down to make
Yes.
you
I
write
was
your
about to say, God was like, oh, this boy here. Sit down. I'm trying to talk to you and you won't listen. So yeah, it's a rough business. Like, again, another thing I can't really talk about, but Outside Studios, we have a project that it's ours, we created it, and it's in very, very, very early stages of development. But I always say that if you watch this show when it comes out and you're thinking of moving to Los Angeles, or if you're a Los Angelino and you're just thinking of getting into business, if you watch this show and still do it, you're gonna make it because we're gonna be very raw and real about what it's like.
show you everything that you
Yeah,
possibly could, might
yeah.
not. Now you know, and if you
You
still
see
choose
it
to
and
do
go, ooh, no.
it,
As Billy D said, go do something else. But we're going to show you the real of it. And we are a company that prides ourselves on not taking advantage of people, making sure everybody's comfortable and great and working well and having fun. Because at the end of the day, we're not curing cancer, right?
okay.
We are providing the world with art,
It's
and,
entertainment,
and
right?
it should be fun.
Yeah.
Yes, it's business and we work, but at the same time, one of the things we always say when we come on set is, listen, we don't even want to work with who you think you are,
Hmm.
who your ego says you are. I'm gonna leave my ego at the door. You're gonna leave. We want to work with the kid that used to work on characters in the mirror,
Mm.
or the kid who used to sing all day, like that's who we want to work
Tap
with.
back into that love.
Yeah. So even with all of that, as fun as our sets are and all that, it's still crazy, still madness. It's still a lot of stuff. And at this stage of my career, I truly understand what he meant when he said, if you can see yourself doing something, you should. You
Hmm.
absolutely should. I just can't. I'm a crazy person. Right? I tried it. I tried all the regular things and it did not work for me. But, if you can, I strongly suggest it. But if not, then make up your mind that failure is not an option. Giving up is not an option. Get
It
knocked
has to
down?
be
Of course
that
you will.
that level of dedication.
Yeah. Will you get
Okay.
knocked down? Of course you will.
Hmm.
You're gonna get knocked down. You're gonna get beat up on. You're going to if I've always said if at some point you don't say, man, I don't know if this was me, then you might not be really doing it.
Hmm.
Like, you're going to do it, but get up. You got knocked down, get back up. Even if you have to just get back up and just hold on for a minute. But find your voice, find your outlet. And the beautiful part is we're now in an era where there's a lot more options to get it out there.
Hmm.
And but you write a song or you write a show or whatever, and it might just be what you're going through, and then you're gonna find a million other people feel just like that.
Hmm.
And they needed you to say that thing. So
Just about finding your audience. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Finding who resonates with you. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so as I'm listening to you talk about the ins and outs of the industry and all of the pitfalls that can come along with it, I'm thinking about how do you navigate this industry and be married? I know that you and your wife are in a different type of situation because you're working together a lot of the times, but how does that balance happen and how does that
That
work?
is I mean, honestly, that is a big, big, big part of it. Um, okay. All right. Now I get all mushy. All right. Now you're about to kill my tough guy, my image here, right
I
here.
don't want tough
All
guy.
right.
I want the real Wallace. Bring him in. He's a teddy bear. Let him be a teddy bear.
All
It's
right. Ah, here we
okay.
go. Well, she's my best friend. All right. I would love to sit here and tell you that I'm perfect and that she's perfect. No, we're artists. We're probably, I won't curse, but this is a country saying bat crazy, right? We both probably are a little bit. But I heard a saying one time, they were like, listen, everybody you meet is crazy. This woman crazy and that man. It's about finding whose crazy matches your crazy perfectly, right?
Right.
But for us, it is built on a base of friendship first, right?
Hmm.
And we didn't start off romantic, just so you know, we started off in a professional setting
Hmm.
and wasn't that at all. We had known each other for years. Most people didn't know that. And then one day, 3 years after we had met and been working together, I was just like, listen, I've never done this. I don't, I've never even dated an actress. And then, like, I don't mix the two worlds. And I'm willing to step down from this company because I got to get to know you. Like, I want to know you.
I guess that's when you know that you know. Okay,
Yeah,
then.
like we sitting on these Zoom meetings because she was in New York and I was in LA at the time. And I'm looking and like, no, stop. Oh, let's get it together, man. And then, when we were in New York and we were working, it still was after that. It wasn't even then, you know what I mean? But once I knew, I just said something, but we're like the best of friends. Yes, obviously we work together, and that makes it a lot easier, especially considering that, I pay for a place in LA that I'm barely in because I'm on the road all the time, right? So that was
Mm.
great. She's on the road with me. That makes it, awesome. It's easier. And then when I'm not on the road, I mean, when I'm on the road and she's not with me because it's not one of our shows, we're in constant communication, like not like all day, every day. Like we have understanding. Nobody is possessive. Nobody is jealous. If
Oh,
we
that
don't talk
matters.
tonight,
Yeah.
it's not a fight tomorrow because then shoot a text, hey, we still up here. She'll be like, okay, I'm going to bed. Or you know what I mean? Like
Right.
you have that trust. I would just say you have to be willing to be real and be honest, and it can't be all sunshine and rainbows. You
Hmm.
got to have the hard conversations. You have
Hmm.
to just really be open and real about everything. Like we're huge wrestling fans, right? Like I took her to WrestleMania one year for her birthday, and we watch them as because it's I mean it's professional theater, it's grown theater. You know what I mean? When you
It
really
pretty
look
much
at it,
is, right?
and
Yeah, with a little bit of chair throwing and so
yeah, like
right.
it's violent soap opera theater, but we started off as a theater company. So, we're looking at it also as a business model. Like, oh, okay,
Hmm.
they have 70,000 live people and blah blah blah. But we share those things. We even joke about the things, that would might get people in trouble. I'd be like, oh, now she knows she wearing them shorts right there, you know what I mean? And we can laugh about it because she knows I'm not trying to get with them or whatever, whatever. I mean, she directs me in half the stuff that I'm the lead in, where I have to
Hmm.
have romantic interest or whatever else, you know what I mean? But
Hmm.
we're able to separate. This is so and so the character, and this is this, and you don't take those things home with you. When you start taking them home with you, then you have a problem with it. We're
Hmm.
on set, what I mean, we're going blah, 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 but it's also everything's very professional. We have, I'm gonna have the talk with my co-stars and actors and everything and make sure everything's okay. She's gonna have the talk with them. We're gonna have a talk. And then after that, the friendship kicks in. She'll say something like, all right, don't you embarrass me out here. You understand?
You better act like you know what you're doing,
Right.
right?
You out here looking like, Black Jason Momoa. Don't you embarrass me out here and be trash, all right? Like, but no, it's
Right.
it's just friendship. It is, if you're down, I got you, and vice versa. It is, we're never in competition. Like when she first started directing everything, people were like, "But you direct," and then I'm like, "But she's better at it than I am.
Hmm.
I don't care how many awards I won for. She's better at it."
That
Uh,
takes a real person to be able to say, you know what, in this instance, I am not the best person for the
yeah,
job. And that's okay. Yeah.
I rarely even put director on anything. Like when they're like award-winning director, I'd be like, I won for producing too. Let's just put it on there because there's no need for us to be in competition, right? And
Hmm.
I have four sisters, and I know I know people have tendencies to just automatically say, "Oh, well, the man must be," it's him, right? I
Hmm.
don't know. So if it both says director, they'll try to give me the credit for it. No, she
Hmm.
directed that. I didn't direct that. You think this movie was my best work as an actor? Great, because she gave me more notes than any director has ever.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And it was very professional in an email. You know what I mean? The off-Broadway show, you thought it was the best version of that? Great, because she directed. And
Hmm.
I got to focus on my first love of acting.
Hmm.
And that's it. It's being willing to do that. She just wrote her first play, and it's brilliant. And I'll be directing
Right.
that though. You know what I mean? Because she's like, all right, this is a little close to
That's
home for
beautiful
me.
how you guys could trade off and support each other as necessary. That's a
Yeah.
wonderful
And listen, we
combination.
have in the world, you have enough inside your own head. I don't care who you are. You have enough. Everybody has a crazy mind to a degree. You know what I mean? You know all your insecurities, your issues are this. You could be the most beautiful person in the world, and you're gonna look in the mirror and you're gonna find the flaw and this and that, and the things or that one part of your body
All
that
our worst
you don't
critic,
really like
right?
about whatever.
Yeah.
Then when you go out in the world, you're gonna have your haters, you're gonna have your people who are jealous. God forbid you're doing what you want to do, you'll have people mad at you and it don't have nothing to do with them.
Hmm.
But they don't have that thing to get up and go for their dream, so they're mad at you for doing yours, right?
Right.
So you have all of these things in the world. You don't need to be, inundated with negativity at home too. That's where you're supposed to be able to let all of that go.
Right.
Come home and be your best friend. Be able to laugh don't take this yourself so seriously and have somebody you can laugh with, joke with, be serious with. You can admit, hey, I'm not feeling like Superman or Superwoman today. I just need a place where I can take my cape off.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm a superhero to the whole world at all times. You know, uh, Being a full-time entertainer and full-time dad, I'm always trying to juggle both worlds. And sometimes I don't feel like I'm doing a great job at any of them. You know what I mean? You just have those days, and it's amazing to be able to come home and be able to take my cape off for a little bit.
Yeah,
And she
yeah,
can do the
just to
same.
relax
Yeah,
and to know that it's gonna be all right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Beautiful. Oh my goodness. That encourages me when I hear stories like that because often the other is so frequently highlighted, right? All the problems and us, going back and forth on social media and the things that are propagated. It's like, no, not everybody doesn't know how to communicate. There are some of us who have figured it out and who are
Yeah,
doing well. How long
yeah.
has it been for you guys?
So what, 3 years now? 3 years, yeah, 3 years now.
We're
So
into year 4 now as well.
yeah, good. Look, I'm high five. Bam, there it
Right?
is. Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes,
it's
yes.
this whole 3 year run has been there. Like we again we met and started working together 3 years before that.
Hmm.
This incredible 3 year run of this and that, and all the things that 10-year-old me dreamed of. She's been right there by my side and bossing me around and telling me what to do as the
That
director.
is amazing. Okay, so we're almost done. I don't know if you are aware of this, but I'm an educator as well, and I work with children, I work with teachers as well.
Okay.
Um, Math teachers in specific are the ones that I focus on. And a lot of times they always say the students ask that question of when am I ever going to use this in real life? Why am I learning it? That type of question. And so I want to know, as a person who has produced plays and done different things, where does math show up for
Oh
you in
man,
your
you
job?
picked a subject that almost knocked me out. I need to call my son and tell him, hey, listen, I haven't been able to help him with math homework since he was like in the second grade. But no, I will say this. I will say this. And I listen, I was that kid. I was like, oh, what am I gonna use this? For what I do, it comes into for what we do, it comes into play all the time, right?
Hmm.
When a theater contacts us and says, "Hey, we want you to bring your show," right? We're way beyond the point of just saying, "Oh yeah, okay, great," right? So we have to, how many seats? What are the ticket prices? What is the profit margin? If you pay, you got to pay my actors and this. Are we gonna, how do we avoid coming home broke? What is this? So it's constantly doing the math, constantly. I have been working on a project right now. Can't say much about it, but when somebody throws out these numbers and it may sound like a really large number, but then you got to start subtracting this and this and this, and then you got to multiply that and this and this and this. And what is this person's rate? Well, oh man, and how many days are we shooting? And what is the post? So, as a person who honestly struggled with math, just because no one ever taught me the formulas,
Mm.
I didn't learn these things till I got to college.
Hmm.
I remember someone said, she said, "You're brilliant in English and writing because you understand the rules."
Right.
She was like, "Math has rules too, and nobody had ever taught me."
Hmm.
So I didn't, when I was in college, I had to drop out of college algebra. But then once somebody showed me the rules, it was like, oh, it all made sense. And so I went back and took statistics and accounting one and accounting two and all these things. But it is the most direct way I can say it is this. if you don't want to depend on someone else and hope and trust that they're going to do right by you, you definitely better understand your numbers. You better
Hmm.
understand it all the way around. Um, when you, again, going back to your question earlier, too many legendary artists only knew how to be artists.
Right.
And 75 years old, if you're performing, make it because you want to, because you love it, not because you have to.
Hmm.
So, again, people might have gotten mad or whatever else, but I was just trying to help. Why would you rent that theater at that cost? Because you can't even break even.
Hmm.
A lot of things feel good to the ego.
Hmm.
We were sold out. We sold out and still can't pay a bill with it. Doesn't feel good.
How is that making sense? Yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
It's like people will do anything for a like, right?
Hmm.
But is that like gonna pay a bill? If it does, okay. But if it doesn't, then you have to evaluate why. Same thing with any type of business, not just entertainment, show business, whatever else. You rent or mortgage and this, but the cost of kids and school and education. And your dreams honestly don't come for free, right?
Right.
You have to learn these budgets and how to do this, and you have to learn to, all right, well, if I move this over to here, but what is this? What is a debt ratio? What is a return on investment? You know what I mean? So it's a lot of different things that comes into play. And even on the smallest level, now people pay us to come and they pay for our lodging and they pay for our cast and they pay for all this. But there are some places where we would still have to if we wanted to put a show up there. And we
Hmm.
always say, well, we have to make it make sense. You know what I mean? And that's where your math truly comes into play is you have to make sense. Now, I still have never had to replace, a number with X. That has not happened yet. It is not. And I don't
See,
know,
that's the
maybe I need
thing. They didn't teach it right. X is simply a placeholder. You just gonna put what it is in there. So X
Listen,
could
I
stand
told you
for
I'm
profit
slow when it
margin.
comes to
It
math.
could stand for
I
expensive.
have
It
never
could
had to
stand.
do inside the parentheses first and then out here. But
That
I
was
have,
just an example, and you're absolutely right. They don't use enough concrete examples so that you
see,
know this is what we're really doing. That X don't
right,
what you think it
right.
means. Yeah.
And I was just like, wait, why is it a Y there? What is happening? I'm so confused. But I have had to figure out the number of seats, multiply by the ticket sales, so this. What is the marketing cost? What is this going to be? And then you're looking at bottom line, you're looking at bottom line possibilities. Um,
Those projections, right?
yeah, all of
Hmm.
these things. So again, I was a business marketing and advertising major, and it's every day. It's what I mean. I'm for a person who math wasn't their strong point all day, every day. I'm running the numbers in my head all day. Sometimes the numbers wake me up. Huh? Numbers again.
No more
Uh,
number nightmares.
yeah,
No more number nightmares. All right. So y'all heard it from Wallace. Math will be used. It's gonna
it
happen.
will.
I promise. No.
Yeah, and a little self promotion. Please check out, follow the outsidestudios.com, follow us on IG, see the projects we have coming up because one of the things we want to do is we really want to create amazing work, for the world, but also for our communities too. You know what I mean? Like we need more just like I love how everybody's talking about centers right now. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like shout out
Hmm.
to Ryan and his team and Michael B. Jordan and all of them. And that's the lane that we feel like we're in. We're trying to create with quality over quantity. You know what I mean?
Hmm. That's perfect. And I'm glad that you added that information in there. I'm gonna tag it on the post as well once this is posted. So thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so last question.
Okay.
Now that you are where you are, what is one thing that you know now that you wish you would have known when you were younger or coming up?
Um, Kind of what you know the goat told me. If I had known even sooner, I'd have created way more work for myself earlier. I
Hmm.
mean, obviously I started a while ago, but I would have spent a lot more time creating work. Um, it was a couple of major opportunities that I kind of missed out on because I wasn't as versed. I was kind of stuck in old school ways, like I could have been a part of some really big things, like when YouTube was first really breaking. I could have had a series on there before the whole world started putting everything up there for free. I
Mm,
would have one thing I know now that I would say if I could go back and tell my younger self, and it's weird because I thought I was doing it, but I'd have been like, be more on top of your business and not just your art. Like, yeah, you did what
mm,
Andre said and you did this, but once you got back in the game, you were so focused on being the artist, but my life completely changed once I started making the business as important as the art, right? The art was going to be there and I was never going to cheat it, but make sure you're handling the business as well. Make sure that people are paying you your worth, right?
hmm.
Make sure that you're not performing for the exact amount of just your needs because you're going to come away with nothing,
Right.
right? Okay, that bill got paid, but you can't eat, you can't go out, you can't celebrate. You went like I would have talked to myself and said, "Hey, stop, kid. Show is the small part of it. Business is the longer part of it.
Hmm.
And don't let anybody talk you out of that because that's their job. They have a
Hmm.
job to try to talk you out of it. That's their business.
Right.
Your business is to
Relies
get
on
ahead
what
of
you
it.
don't know and what you won't advocate for. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
So
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us
thank
today.
you for
It's been an
having
amazing
me.
conversation, my friend. Yes.
It is great seeing you, and I'm honored to be here with you.
Is there anything else you'd like to say before we log off for the good of the order?
Um, do what you love yourself. For me, love God, and just be the absolute best that you can be. Because as far as I know, we only get one shot at this thing. And
Hmm.
even if you come back, you wouldn't be you. So maximize it, ride it till the wheels fall off, and whatever it is that you want to do in life, do it. Dare to dream, dare to
Hmm.
dream, and dream without limits. Says the formerly poor kid who's now formed all over. Like, dare to dream without limits. Give yourself permission to dream.
All right. And you've heard it straight from the source's mouth. Wallace Demarria, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for having me again. And I'm super proud of you.